Welcome on in, guys. Three bold takes, and we are back again with some more predictions. I believe it's week 11 of the college
Yeah.
football season. But before we do that, we want to thank our partner SeatGeek for giving us a discount code to save you guys $20 off your first purchase. That code is three bold takes. Again, three bold takes, all spelled out for $20 off your first purchase. So thanks SeatGeek for sponsoring the channel.
Guys, next up on the docket, we are going back to Nashville, Tennessee to talk about the Vanderbilt Commodores, bowl eligible Vanderbilt Commodores, as they take on the South Carolina Gamecocks at 3:15. South Carolina favored by 3.5, over under 44.5. Guys, I'm super excited. We got a ranked Vanderbilt. We got a South Carolina on the verge of being ranked. Freddie, what are you thinking about this game?
So I just want to start off by saying a couple things. Who would have thunk? All right, who would have thunk we'd be here week 11 talking about a Vandy game as one of the top 5 games of the week? Chase, put your hand down because you're a liar. No, but
I said Vandy 7 wins. I did.
you did. Yeah, I will give you that. I will give you that. And we thought you were crazy, but I want to point out something. Vandy is bowl eligible. You want to know some big name teams that are not bowl eligible at this point in the year? USC, Michigan, Nebraska, Florida. All right. Those are some huge names that are not bowl eligible. You can roll your eyes if you want to, Quinn. I'm just stating facts here. All right.
You just dropped Nebraska as a non-bowl eligible team like it's a surprise, but go ahead.
Okay. All right.
That's
hey,
crazy.
that's fair. But with that being said here, let's talk about this game. The wrong team is ranked here. I said this before we recorded. Now, not necessarily that the wrong team is ranked. I think that both teams should be ranked, but I think South Carolina should be ranked a little bit higher, personally. And I think Vegas obviously agrees because they're a 3.5-point favorite on the road against a Vandy team that we've seen play very competitive. Obviously, they beat Alabama, right? 3-point loss to Texas at home, very tight game. They beat Kentucky. They just beat Auburn at home 17-7. However, South Carolina's coming off of two very, very impressive wins back-to-back for a team like South Carolina. Now, we know that Oklahoma's horrible, right? Like, we understand this. But they beat them 35-9. Like, what else do you expect against a bad Oklahoma team? They did what they needed to do. Then a top-ranked or a top 10 ranked Texas A&M comes to town. You take care of business, put the beat down on them, 44-20. This is an interesting matchup here because these are two teams that are. I don't want to say. Obviously, Vandy's overachieving because their Vegas win total at the beginning of the year was 3.5. All right. I think South Carolina's overachieving so far this year. I think their overall over-under win total was 5.5. If I'm not mistaken, they're already at 5 wins with, 4 games left to go for them. So that bet's looking good for them to overachieve. Lenore Sellers is going to be a superstar. I think now that a superstar may be an exaggeration. He's going to be a very, very, very competent quarterback in this league for the next 3 years if he decides to stay that long. I'm very impressed with him. But on the other side of the ball, you have Pavia, who has already proven to be a top quarterback whenever it comes to, let's face it, a Vandy team, right? Like, he is one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen at Vandy. I'm going to be honest with you. His skill set, the way he runs the offense that they do, the way he competes, I love everything about him. I think South Carolina gets it done here. Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to change that. Live change here. I'm going Vandy because I think after such a monster of a win last week for South Carolina, this is a classic letdown game. You just played a awesome game at home against a top 10 team, one of the biggest wins in Shane Beamer's history. It's up there with the Tennessees of a couple years ago and the Clemsons a couple of years ago, right up there with it. Then you go on the road to play Vandy. Like, just think about that. You're going to play Vandy, but it's not the normal Vandy that you're used to. That's a little bit different connotation than what it used to mean. I've got Vandy actually winning this game at home. Yeah, it'll be a straight money line upset since South Carolina's favored by 3.5. So give me Vandy to pull off the upset.
Yeah, Freddie wanted to say that Chase, you put your hand down. No, Chase has been right the entire freaking season. Every single time I've come on here or I've texted you guys, Vandy is a ball team, man. They know how to play ball. They're better than Alabama. They almost were better than Texas. They're only people that they should be following in the SEC is Georgia, and that is it. Point, plain and simple, gentlemen. But let me tell you, you can talk about Diego Pavia all night long. And let me not get you wrong. Diego is a wonderful quarterback, and Freddie said one of. No, he is the best Vanderbilt quarterback since 2000. I mean, who else is up there? Who else is up there?
Jay Cutler.
That was the other one that I was
Yeah.
thinking. Can't stand Jay Cutler, so I'm going Diego. So it doesn't matter. I knew that Jay Cutler was the other one. He pisses me off. Anyway, it's not even about the offense. The offense is great. Diego is literally put on the Superman cape and does it all himself. He leads the team in passing and leads the team in rushing. Honestly, he might lead the team in receiving at some point. He's just that crazy. He's doing it all. You bring in Jerry Kill too, his former head coach, as a assistant special to the coach, whatever he is. I don't know, because he had health issues last year. I think he's unlocked Diego here. But you got to give it to the defense. In 9 games this year, they have 21 sacks. The past 3 years, last year in 2023, they had 21 total sacks for a season. Year before that, they had 17. Year before that, they had 9. Applaud to the offense, but the defense is performing against these SEC teams more so than ever before. And that's a big thing in the Clark Leah era that hasn't been seen from former Vandy teams with Derek Mason, all the way since whatever the guy's face from Penn State, the Key and Peele guy. No, I'm kidding. I know it's James Franklin guy. Sorry. But the cool thing about this Vandy team, which it's a double-edged sword, they play to their competition. You lose to Georgia State earlier in the season 36-32, but you beat Alabama at home 40-35. This Vandy team can get up and get down as well. Mizzou, Texas, they played up to those teams and had the chances to upset, but they didn't. Me here, this is Vandy all the way. This is going to be a tough team, but they've already seen a better version of this South Carolina team in Alabama, and they hosted Alabama at home and beat them. Jalen Milroe is literally a Lenora Sellers type quarterback. He's dual threat. He's got a big arm, but he can also absolutely destroy you with his legs. The defense has really good edge rushers. You're going to have Dylan Stewart. That's the biggest thing for this Vandy offense. If you can contain this guy, you can work your offensive line around. Halting, slowing down Dylan Stewart, I think you're going to have a wonderful field day. I think Diego and them are going to have a game plan coming in, short and sweet, get it out in the open to where you're going to subdue Stewart just a little bit. I think this will be a good win. But again, you play to your company. You can score 40 on Alabama. You can only score 17 on Auburn. I think they're going to just be in the middle of the road. I don't think they get more than 30 points here. I'm going to go like a 27-21 type game, 27-20. Give me Vandy.
Man, Vanderbilt in 2024 has been one of the best stories in football. Chase, you hit on it. They're getting this game at home, but you hit on it in the fact that they've already played a team like South Carolina who's better than South Carolina, and that's Alabama. But where I'll push back on you in one thing is they did not do a very good job at stopping Alabama's offense in that matchup.
Sure.
They didn't. They just played a young defense who could not play run fits the entire game and ate them alive. I'm going South Carolina in this game. And the comment section can fill up with all the hatred for picking against Vandy, this, that, and the other. I'll give you 3 points. 1, I think South Carolina offensively can find success. 2, I think South Carolina's defense is going to do a better job at holding back Diego Pavia in this offense. 3, I think you look at the history of Shane Beaver in November, that's his best month as a coach. South Carolina usually chokes early in the year, and then what they're doing in November doesn't matter. He has a good track record against ranked opponents in November. He does. 3 or 4, I guess. I feel like South Carolina feels disrespected by all of this. I feel like they look at themselves as a roster view themselves as a more talented team and a more talented roster, and look at the fact that they're ranked below Vanderbilt and have something to prove. So I like South Carolina to win this game in a close one. Give me South Carolina. I'm going to say they cover. Give me South Carolina by 5.
Vandy as well. They have a bye week after this game. All they have to do is beat South Carolina here, and then they get LSU and Tennessee. They're going into it like this is a sweet, sweet ending to. All right, we can rest, but first we can handle South Carolina.
I think they beat one of those teams. LSU or Tennessee. I think they beat one of those teams.
I think one.
Would it not be amazing if Tennessee beat Georgia and then the last week of the year Vandy ruins Tennessee's dreams by beating them and keeping them out of the SEC championship game? Would that not just be awesome?
That sounds like a pretty good storybook.
Yeah.
And I think you set that story up a little bit better by having Vandy drop these next 2 games. Make them be forgotten.
No, the Vandy's is making a playoff push here. Let's not.
Shut up.
They're at 24, but you beat South Carolina, who's honestly probably on the cusp, if not in the CFP polls.
Hey, that's fair. They probably will be.
I would assume they might be on the back end. And then you have a ranked LSU and a ranked Tennessee. If you can win one of those two, maybe you're on the back end or close. Like you could end up at 17. You could say, okay, Vandy had a legitimate shot if they would have won out or something like that. They're at 24. They're not far off. Okay.
Quinn, close us
out.
That's wild.
Yeah, I'll say this as we're going into Christmas season. If ifs and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all be jolly and fat, Chase. That being said, we're getting out of here. We've been 3 bold takes. We just got done talking Vandy, South Carolina. We got Freddie and Chase going Vandy. I'm going South Carolina. Guys, be sure you use our code 3 bold takes with SeatGeek to get 20% off your first purchase. And we're out of here.